opportunity to play and you don't get anybody, injured. That's the case today. The two guys at Sherry's Flowers, got a little bit of a shoulder, but it's not a big issue. And Shank has had a sprained knee all spring and sprained it again a little bit, but it's nothing serious and not surgical. So he just needs some time to heal up and rest. But, I kind of look at the spring practice, especially the spring game, as an opportunity to, see where your team is. It's almost like, midterm in school. It's not the final exam. It kind of shows you the progress that you've made to this point, how many guys you actually have out there that have made the kind of progress that they need to make, that they can go play in a competitive situation and elevate their game and play with some kind of consistency. It also points out, the areas where you need to improve, individually as well as collectively, as a team. And where we have to invest our time to, in the future, to be able to fix some of those things. I was very pleased with the way our two young receivers played, today. They both made plays. They both played with confidence. I thought the first offense did a pretty good job of, run-pass balance. I thought the two quarterbacks that played with that team had a much better opportunity. All right, so you're going to ask me about all this stuff, and you're going to look at this and say, well, these two guys played better. Well, if I had to play on those two teams, I would have played better on the white team. That's me playing quarterback. I can still play quarterback, okay? I can sling it a little bit. I can't see very well, all right? And I might not be able to avoid the rush like I used to. But I'm just saying that they had a much better opportunity. We lost a lot of players on offense, so we don't have a lot of depth on offense right now. So it really affects the second unit a lot more than it does the first, especially when you add a few guys that are injured. So those guys had a better opportunity to have success, today. And they took advantage of it and did a good job. And I thought Jake did a good job through the one pick that was a pick six. And, that would be one of the things that I would say, the turnovers, a big emphasis this spring has been the ball. All right, how are we going to take care of the ball on offense? How are we going to ball hawk on defense? Well, we obviously did a better job of ball hawking on defense because that's way too many turnovers, even though there's 2 games going on out there, not just one. But you got to take care of the ball. That's something that's turnover margin, turnover ratio, probably the number one. When Jason Garrett here, he had NFL stats from 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. When you're +1 in turnovers, you got like an 80% chance to win. When you're +2 in turnovers, you got like a 95% chance to win, and it goes up from there. All right, so that's really important to get them and to take care of the ball. We need to do a better job of that. So, this game was set up, to try to look at the quarterbacks, to try to give them an opportunity. I think the guys that played with the second team, because the offensive line was not probably up to snuff or what it needs to be relative to the second defensive line, they probably didn't have the same opportunity to have success. So there can be no great conclusions drawn from any of what happened today, other than, we're pleased with what we saw in some of the guys. We'll certainly take that into fall camp and this summer and try to build on it. And I was encouraged by the way the first offense especially played. I think the focus for everybody here now is to make a commitment to doing things the way we need to do them so that we can improve and take advantage of the things that we learned today. And we'll go to work on that Monday with meeting and finish this semester academically like we need to, and kind of go from there.
So, up with Mark and Dwayne.
You talked about the ball hawking. Just what did you see from your view from the secondary with all the interceptions and things like that?
I'm sorry?
I said you talked a little bit about the ball hawking, but just from your view, what did you see from the secondary and getting all those interceptions?
Well, I think that obviously it's always a good play when you get a turnover. But when you're playing against yourself, did the guy that threw the pass throw at the right place, the right time? And it was a good throw. Was it a good play? Was it a good break on the ball by the defensive player? So, you know, sometimes interceptions occur because of lack of execution, and sometimes they occur because of great plays. There was a couple of good breaks on the ball today, and there was a couple probably throws that shouldn't have been made. So you can take from that whatever you'd like. But it is a concern that we turn the ball over that much, and it's encouraging that we got that many turnovers. But when you're playing against yourself, you know, just like I love seeing our offense make big plays. But when they make them against our defense, it makes you say, wow, man, you know, one of our big points of emphasis is not give up big plays. All right, so that's something that we need to work on, and we will continue to do that.
Coach, just the strategy with Kenyon Drake. I know he had the black jersey on. He went into the line a few times, and he seemed to be getting frustrated, getting tapped, because he probably thought he could break off a big run. How do you feel like he played under those circumstances?
I thought he played great. That's how he's played all spring. And, you know, I think that we're trying to make a business decision as best what's best for Kenyon Drake and his future, as well as what's best for our team. And I don't think he had anything to prove out there today by going out there and getting tackled and us putting him in a situation where he'd be at greater risk of injury. You know, he's pretty much full speed, but yet to be cautious with him, I think is probably smart right now. And, you know, if he's a competitor, you would expect him to get frustrated because he wants to compete like everybody else. But I think with a cool head and under normal circumstances, if any of us sit down and had a conversation with him, he's probably pleased with the spring that he had, and feels, you know, great about the fact that he got a lot of work in and he didn't get exposed a lot, and he's going to have now a great opportunity for 3 or 4 months to continue to build on that, and he didn't put himself in any great risk of injury.
Go to the right there in DC.
You mentioned that things weren't equal for each quarterback. So when you're evaluating the film, how do you take that into account when, you know, a certain quarterback maybe has better receivers or going against a lesser defense?
Well, you know, you kind of take the plays that the quarterback couldn't make because he didn't have a chance to make it, right? And you really can't fault him for that. You take the opportunities that maybe they had, where they had protection, they had time, they had open people. Did they throw the ball the right place? Were they able to throw it accurately? Did they make good decisions? I mean, I think you have to sort of separate the things that they can control and the things that they can't control, and sort of evaluate it that way.
What's your overall feeling about the running back position, depth-wise and performance-wise, spring today, just moving forward?
Well, we obviously have 2 guys that have proven around here over time that they're very, very good players. Bo Scarborough was having an outstanding spring, played really, really well in the first scrimmage. You know, and then Ronnie Clark's coming off with an injury, not 100% yet, probably speed-wise. Deshaurius Flowers has basically been hurt all spring long. And we have a freshman runner coming in. So after the first 2 guys, you know, there hasn't been a real solid opportunity to have any continuity and development of any of these players. But I think whether it's a freshman that comes in next year, or, you know, the players that we have now and developing those players, that's where the depth of this position has got to come from. And it's unfortunate, you know, we had some good guys here and they didn't live up to what they were supposed to do, and they're not here anymore. All right, so, you know, we feel comfortable and confident that we can develop the players that we have, and we have some explosive players there, and we'll just keep working with them.
Michael.
I want to ask about Reuben Foster and his progress. He was in there quite a bit today, first group. I mean, where is he now compared to last spring?
Right, well, in fairness, you know, we had to split the guys up, but the way we played this spring is Sean Dion has started with the regular team, and when we're playing in regular defense, and Reuben has been the starter at nickel. So those 2 guys are sort of sharing a spot, a little bit like Nico Johnson and C.J. Mosley did, you know, early on, but we had to break them up, so they both had to play both things today. But Reuben had a really good spring. He's able to stay healthy throughout the spring. He made a lot of plays. He's got a better understanding of the defense, playing a lot more maturity and a lot more confidence, and we're encouraged, you know. But with Reuben, we just try to get him to focus every day on what he needs to do to get better, and we were very pleased with what he was able to accomplish.
Middle Matt.
And Nick, it seemed like Marlon Humphrey had a decent day today, had some good tackles, had the interception, had a pass breakup also. What did you see from him, and what kind of spring?
Well, Marlon's had a good spring. I mean, he really has. He's improved a lot. Tony Brown has improved a lot. You know, Marlon did, you know, play well in the game today, but again, he was playing against the second receivers, which is, you know, matchups are a big deal. So, and, you know, we only really had 3 receivers that have any experience out there today. You know, Cam Sims not being out there, a couple other guys that played a little bit. So this is an area of our team where we need to add depth. You know, and it may be an area where we have to play some freshmen next year, but I'm happy with the way Marlon played. But again, you know, these, how you get challenged in a situation like this is something that everybody has to know. But Marlon has had a good spring. He's improved a lot. He's got a lot more confidence, and he's developed nicely for us.
Back left, Scott.
Nick, you kind of talked in the past about that. AJ had, Blake had that gravitational pull where the team kind of follows that guy that the quarterback should be. Not really relative to today's game, but what do you look for from that as far as comparing to on-field play, that maybe them in the locker room or doing drills when coaches aren't out there? What are you looking for from whoever it's going to be?
Well, you know, I think what you're trying to describe here is leadership. You know, somebody that affects other people for their benefit. And to be honest with you, I think several of the quarterbacks have the capabilities of doing that, and I've actually seen signs, you know, of that in them at times. But I also think that when you do things the way we've done them so far, you're not really putting the guy in a position to be a leader, to affect other people, because you're rotating guys in and out, and you know, like I thought Jake did a pretty good job of that today. And you know, some of the other guys who have shown capabilities of doing that in the past struggled a little bit with that today. But again, you know, it's a lot easier to play with confidence when you're playing around guys that know what they're doing. You know, quarterback, you've heard me say this before, I played quarterback. Quarterback is the hardest position in football to play if you don't have good players around you. So we need that kind of leadership. We need people who can affect other people in a positive way. And I think that's going to be something that will be interesting to see how it develops with these players that we have.
2 more quick ones, Cecil.
Coach, did you feel like you got Cam Robinson enough looks in the passing game today, or are you going to start to target him a little bit more?
Well, you know, that was, I let each team put a trick play in, and that was that team's trick play. But because we had to practice on Thursday inside, both teams had to put their trick play in, like, you know, on half the field. So I don't think it was much of a trick. You know, as soon as they lined up in a formation, all the defensive players started yelling, you know, cover Cam, cover Cam. So 57 stands up and covers them on the pass. So there wasn't much of a trick to it, because we didn't have any secret operation that we could go to on Thursday because of the weather.
Last one, Kim.
Just outside of OJ, talk about your tight end group and how you feel, you know, getting out of spring.
Well, you know, Ty Smith has really made a lot of progress this spring. I think he's got a lot more confidence right now. You know, Dakota Ball played some tight end last year. He developed in the spring. Johnny Dwight, we moved from the defensive line, and he's not played a lot of tight end before. So, you know, this is also an area of our team where we need some, you know, we recruited a tight end. He's going to have a great opportunity, and we need to improve. Past those first 2 guys, we need to improve. OJ had a really good spring, and, you know, I think should have, a really good year next year. And I think some of the things that we're doing offensively is we're not doing a lot that requires a big old tight end to block in what I call the C area, or the tight end area beside the tackle. So, and part of the reason for that is we have more athletic tight ends, and we don't have a thumper right now. So we'll have to adapt accordingly.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.